Hello Fox, I welcome all of you to the very first lecture of the series about learning database management system offered by DB for Dummies. Anytime you are interacting with database products, SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL and so on, these products are supplied by different vendors. And in this case, it's Microsoft, just to allow us to interact with the product for creating various queries, functions, DB design diagrams and much more. The product for us is Management Studio 2014. By default, it does create desktop shortcut for you. If you are in Windows 8, then go ahead and type window key with start menu will pop up and you have to type SQL to see Management Studio icon. Now let's bring that to the taskbar. If you're using older version of Windows, then you need to open up your start menu to see your list of program, and here you will find Management Studio. So go ahead and pin to the taskbar. This is just a screen dump because I'm not actually using older version of Windows, but this is where you find it, and this is an old version as you can say, but the configuration will stay the same. Alright, let's move on. Double click on icon and it will open up the official Microsoft IT SQL Server Management Studio for you. As we can see clearly that dialog box with options like SQL Server type name and authentication. Now by default it tend to connect to the stored server instance using Windows authentication. So the server name in this case is Zanely. If you do not find the username, then go ahead and find the username under DB engine and then press OK. Windows authentication is picked up my user by default in this case. Alright, so this is just a fictitious environment created especially for this course. Now connect and you will see a great change on the left hand side of the window that has been clearly highlighted. You will see that the first line shows that the server I'm connected to the Minizan. User line is the person, in this case it's me, and the version number as well. Now there are a number of folders that kind of look like a folder explorer, even though termed as an object explorer. Our bulk of work and all the database we are going to create will go in database folder. Now so far we have not created anything, but by default there are a set of folders. There are system DBs installed as a part of installation of SQL Server. These system DBs we do not need to concern with. They are purely for developer DBs and for management of the product itself, but for this course we don't need to touch them. I recommend that don't tinker with these because you could easily break your installation. The security folder, we are not interested in setting up any security here because this is not a DB or security based course, but let me show you the connected user. In this case is Zanely, and you can also set the permission of that particular user as well. Server object, a little bit of look around in backup devices because we've been doing some backups and restore, just that you know how to protect your work to ensure nothing disastrous happen. Replication, as the name basically suggests, it's all about copying database around network as well. And then in management you can handle policy, backup, SQL Server logs to see all the actions taken place in SQL Server. You can also perform complex tasks like linking divert servers, apply triggers and much more. Alright, so that is pretty much straightforward. Explore the ribbon across top of Management Studio. It offers you many number of features like file menu, disconnect, reconnect and open recent files, edit menu to edit the queries. Basically view option is all about managing different perspective and different GUI panels for interactivity. Debug is similar to the programming debugging to catch errors and help in writing major scripts. Tools are very important as it helps developer DB and so on for tracing different events. Different window option is also available as well, and the last one is basically help menu that is offered by Microsoft and it's online. These all tools are basically also available in toolbox. So let's go ahead and without wasting any time create the database using queries. Open up query editor and let me show you the number of ways we can create database and how we can change its properties, like making it dynamically sized and setting out the permission and much more. At any time you can see the property window providing you just a quick way to edit your queries. Okay, now without explaining SQL, I'm going to copy paste the code. Now let me copy paste the code and I will explain this in later chapters, but for time being you have to execute and not only create database but also create table and also show you the dataset in result window with messages. In case of error you can also add breakpoint and use debugging to catch it. Refresh once and go to Object Explorer to see the database under database root folder. If you do not see, then you have to reconnect to the default instance, and when you reconnect to the default instance also you will see the database that you have just created. Expand your DB and you will see the parent child hierarchy with bunch of new folders like table, index and many more, just to perform different operations on newly created DB. This is not just only way to create database. For the beginners you can also create database using wizard. For that purpose you have to right click on database and select database basically. So give some name, choose owner by browsing all available user accounts. You can also perform different operation using wizard as well. You can also set the location, manage dynamic size, set the permission, visibility, and many more options. So there are numerous options available to set the security and permission, but let's go with the default settings, as this is something not very important at this part of the course. So now let's go ahead with the default setting and new created DB. You will see newly created DB here, and if you expand this you will see the similar structure as we have seen earlier. Okay, that's all about it. Now let's explore the help menu. Click help and it's going to take you to the top of help library. Help is excellent in Management Studio as there is comprehensive help library. Now in old days we used to install this help library on system, but now we can get all online as it enhance usability by making it more interactive and user oriented with the information constantly up to date. Everything is here open for review now, and this extensive library is very context sensitive with the very strict syntax rules and a lot of information available to understand various function verb syntax of SQL Server. So this will act as a way through enhance your learning, as you cannot conceivably remember every single construct with a product like SQL Server or even Oracle for example. So you will indeed return to the help just to recap on what the syntax should or should not be.